Hey there, it's Tara, your yoga bestie, and we have another class where we're going to be focused on the heart chakra. So we are going to be using a strap again today. If you do not have one, you could use a towel or a tie, or just don't worry about it. It's just going to be in the beginning of the practice. So get what you need or don't worry about it. And we're going to go ahead and come to a comfortable place. We're going to be starting out from an upright seated position. So if you prefer to start out in seated, you can. Otherwise, maybe you come into a reclined position or whatever else is calling your name, maybe child's pose. Got Lionel here, our little yoga buddy. And yeah, once you find your comfortable spot, just go ahead and settle in, maybe wiggle into that space, and then we'll close our eyes as we start to tap into our Ujjayi breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Taking this time to just let go of any thoughts or worries so that you can focus in on your breath, this present moment, and this practice. And our Ujjayi breath is an audible breath, so you're going to hear a snoring-like sound in the back of the throat, kind of like you're fogging up a mirror with your nose. And we can check in by inhaling to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just continue with this rhythm, knowing that you can always add or subtract any of those counts, and that can change throughout the practice. So usually in the beginning, it's a little bit more shallow, and then as we start to move around, we become more comfortable and find some more space, which means longer counts. But while you're focused on your breath, I already mentioned we're talking about our fourth chakra, our heart chakra today. Located at the heart center, it's associated with things like compassion and forgiveness, love, acceptance, healing. In addition to the heart center, it also encompasses the lungs, the shoulders, and the upper back, which you'll understand what the strap is for today with that. And the affirmation that I'm offering up that coincides with our fourth chakra is, I allow love to transform my pain into peace. Again, I allow love to transform my pain into peace. On your next inhale, find some movement here. So maybe if you're on your back, a full body stretch. If you're seated, maybe some spinal movement. If you are in your child's pose, you might walk your hands from side to side, or anything else that just sounds good at this moment. And then we'll make our way into either an upright seated position, or we stay in a reclined space where we'll bring our hands together at our heart center, our Anjali Mudra, as we set our intention for our practice today. And maybe that intention includes our affirmation of I allow love to transform my pain into peace. Or maybe something else comes to mind that speaks to you that you need. Please honor that. And we'll take another big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. Nice. And so we'll make our way into a tabletop position just to kind of find some little movements here, really spreading through the fingers nice and wide and starting to bring in the breath with that movement. So maybe you're finding some cat-cow movements, some lateral movement from side to side. I also love to sit back and extend one leg out to the side, getting into those side bodies. So whatever is calling your name. And we'll take one more breath here. Exhale, then find that strap of yours, and we're going to sit back onto our heels in our hero's pose, but we're going to take the strap in between the hands, and we're going to bring our right arm down. So we're going to plant that strap down with the right hand, but also know that you might have to adjust the amount of space in between both hands by lifting up and pulling down on it. We're then going to lean into our right side as we gaze towards our left arm, breathing into that side body space into between each rib. If it feels good, you might start to bring your chin towards your right shoulder, maybe even rocking from side to side, getting into that neck. Ooh, okay. We'll take a big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. And then we're just going to switch out sides. So maybe make it to where it's a little bit tighter so that you can make adjustments as you bring that left hand down and pin down the strap. Finding that space through the right arm as it reaches overhead and gazing towards that arm. Maybe bring your chin towards your shoulder and make those movements in the neck. One more big breath in here. Exhale. And then we'll make our way upright. We're going to be coming into a child's pose, but I want to show you what you're going to be doing in that child's pose. So we're going to have less space in between the strap. Our thumbs are going to be up holding onto that strap. And we're just going to be lifting up one arm at a time. So now when you're coming into child's pose, just make sure it's nice and taut between the hands because you want to feel that in the shoulders. As the head comes onto the mat, you're lifting up one thumb and then the other thumb. And it's such a small movement, but you're going to notice pretty quickly, you're feeling a lot right here. Once more on each side. And then we'll roll it up. So we've got two more exercises with the strap. They're both in child's pose, but I want to show you what it looks like prior to that. So we're going to bring that strap above the head. So when we're in child's pose, we're going to have our hands onto the mat, and we're just drawing those shoulders down. So we're extending up and bringing it down. All right. If you've got this upright, now notice what it feels like in child's pose. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Cool. So last one, we're going to bring that strap behind our back so our palms face outward. And we're going to be having that right there. We're just going to lift and lower as from our child's pose. So we'll bring our head back down and we're going to lift and lower. See how high you can bring it. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, we'll place that to the side. Maybe shake the arms out a little bit, and then we're going to make our way into our first down dog. So you can tuck those toes under, lifting up the hips nice and high here, bicycling those legs out. Notice what the breath is doing as you come into this space. Gazing past the legs, full inhale. Exhale. And then lift up that right leg. We're going to open up the hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. You can stay right here. You can start to make some circles going in one direction, going in the other direction. And then as we inhale, reach that leg up. Exhale, knee draws to nose as we bring that foot all the way through. So if you have blocks, you can always have those to each side of the foot here. We're going to be shifting forward and back from our runner's lunge to our pyramid-like pose. And feel free to lower that back knee if that feels good in your body. For any part of it, all of it, feel free to linger anywhere. Just moving at the pace of your breath. Next time that we shift forward, we're moving into our runner's twist. So we'll bring the left hand down. Right arm will come up as we stack shoulder on top of shoulder. And then we're moving into our wild thing. So take that front foot behind as you come onto the ball of that foot, lifting up the hips. Inhale, lift up. And then as we exhale, gaze towards the top of your mat, step the right foot forward and then the left foot forward for Malasana, our yogic squat. You're using those elbows as leverage to open up the hips. If you have blocks, you might place one underneath you as a seat. I like to say if you have two and you place them underneath you, you have a throne. Other options might be to come into a crow pose from here. You might bring your hands down, lifting up that seat. Bring one or both knees onto the triceps if both legs are lifted. Bringing those big toes together as you bring your gaze forward. Maybe it's a wrist stretch, bringing the tops of the hands together, but just checking into what you need. And then from here, we're gonna bring the right arm in front of the right leg. Left arm is gonna reach up, so we're finding a twist. Maybe we bring that left arm behind our back. If we have a towel or a strap, we might have that strap there, and we might bring the right arm around this leg, so creating a bind here. If you don't have the bind, all good. You can stay in that twist. Just gazing towards the left fingertips or past the left shoulder. One more breath in. As we exhale, we'll bring that hand down if we were in our twist. If we're in the bind, keep the bind. And if you don't have it, hold on to your right shin right here, because we're gonna lift up our seat slightly to bring our left foot in towards the right, and we're coming up to standing. So we either have this bind in our standing Marichi, or we are holding our knee, drawing it in towards our chest. If we have the bind, we might take a little bow, bringing our head forward and our seat back. Just an option. Big breath in. Exhale. And then we're releasing for tree pose. So bring that right foot to the inside of the left leg, wherever you find. And we'll bring our hands to heart center. Or maybe we bring those arms up overhead, coming into our full tree pose. Finding a focal point or drishti to focus on here. Big breath in. And then as we exhale, step it back, gazing towards the right side of your mat, coming into goddess. So heels are in, toes are out. You could have goalpost arms, you could have hands to heart center, wherever you want. Maybe you find some movement from side to side in this, or maybe you find a little bit of a bounce. Working your weight into the heels. Take a big breath in here, find that goddess pose. And then as we exhale, start to straighten through this left leg. We're moving into side angle to the back. So right arm to right leg, left arm reaches up, that's one option. Or maybe you bring that hand down, maybe you find your partial or your full bind. You can use that towel or strap if it's available. If you have the bind, really sit back into the pose, working shoulder on top of shoulder. Big breath here. And then as we exhale, release any arm variation you have. Bring your hands to the back of the mat, and we'll find our plank or push-up position. Exhale, slowly lowering all the way onto our bellies. Taps of the feet come into the mat, hands are underneath the shoulders, and we'll inhale, lifting up cobra pose, bhujangasana. As we exhale, we'll lower. And feel free to start to move through these on your own, maybe changing something up. I like to come onto my fingertips in a wide stance, and then go into some shoulder dips, for instance. Next time that the forehead lowers, make your way back into your down dog, lifting up those hips nice and high. Pro tip, if you like your blocks for that first part, go ahead and bring them to the back of your mat, because we're going to be setting up for that side. So from our down dog, go ahead and reach that left leg up towards the ceiling, opening up the hip, heel to behind knee up towards the ceiling. And then we'll stay here. We make those circles going in one direction, going in the other direction. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, knee draws to nose as we bring that foot all the way through for our runner's lunge. And this is where we'll start to shift forward and back from runner's lunge to our pyramid-like pose. Just moving at a pace that feels good to you. Feel free to linger somewhere or lower that back knee. Know that one side usually feels a lot different than the other side. Next time that we shift it forward, hold it here. Runner's twist, so right hand is down, left arm reaches up. And then we're moving into that back bend. So wild thing, bringing that left foot behind, coming onto the ball of the foot as we lift up those hips. If you like to incorporate that movement, go ahead. Inhale, we reach it up. Exhale, gaze to the back of your mat. Step the left foot forward and then the right foot forward, coming into your Malasana, your yogi squat. And same options as before. Or maybe you add one. So there is one more option I wanted to provide where it's a little handstand hops, but the goal of it is actually to clap the feet and not to go in handstand. Handstand's a side effect, pretty good one if you ask me. And you can bring your hands down and you can just lift up the hips, clapping those feet, and kind of see what happens. Because you're in nice, perfect alignment with your hands there. And maybe you get a little airtime, maybe you don't. It's all good, either way. Take a full breath in. Exhale. And then moving into our twist. So left arm is down, right arm is up. Again, we stay here, or maybe we add on. Maybe we find a prop for ourselves if we're working that bind. Either way, gazing either past our right shoulder, up towards those fingertips. Big inhale. Exhale. And then if we don't have our bind, we'll start to hold on to that left shin. We're gonna lift up our seat as we bring our right foot towards the left, and we're coming all the way to standing, whether we're holding on to that shin or we're in our standing Marichi. There we go. Maybe take that bow, shifting forward. So we use that equilibrium by bringing that head forward and that seat back. One more breath in here. And then as we exhale, release for your tree pose. So bringing that foot to the inside of the leg, maybe growing those arms up overhead. Finding that focal point or drishti to focus on here. Inhale. And then as we exhale, step it back, goddess. So heels are in, toes are out. Find whatever movement that you like. Or hold still here, bringing that weight into the heels. Big breath in. Exhale, straightening through the right leg, side angle towards the top of the mat. So find your version. Doesn't have to be the same as the first side. Doesn't have to be a bind, but if you have it, see what happens. One more breath in here. Exhale, we'll release any arm variation we have. Both hands come to the top of the mat as we step it back. This time we'll lower with muscle, maybe to a hover chaturanga or all the way down. Inhaling into your cobra or maybe up dog. Exhaling into your down dog, lifting up those hips. Full breath in here. Exhale. Softening the knees, we gaze forward as we step or float to the top. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. Exhale into our forward fold. Let's reverse swan dive all the way up, reaching up and back, opening up through the heart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we step or float. Lowering or hovering. Inhale into your cobra or up dog. Exhaling into your down dog. Big breath in. Exhale, softening those knees. We gaze forward as we step or float to the top. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse. Reach it up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we step or float back. Lowering or hovering. Inhaling into our cobra or up dog. Exhaling into our down dog. Big breath in. Exhale. Softening the knees, we gaze forward as we step or float to the top. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse. Reach it up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we step or float it. Lowering or hovering. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhaling, down dog, or any resting position of choice. Just taking a moment to check in with your breath. That concludes our warm-up portion of the class. And if you're new to my class, we do 2 main sequences that are repeated a couple times, and then we bring those 2 sequences together at the end. I call the first one peanut butter, the second one jelly, and then we have a delicious peanut butter and jelly sequence sandwich as our kind of finale, I guess. So take a moment just to check in, let that kind of sink in for a moment. We can refer back to our affirmation of I allow love to transform my pain into peace. And just find a moment of peace here. Big breath in. Exhale. All right, let's make our way to down dog. Let's do this thing called peanut butter. So from our down dog, we're gonna walk our hands all the way to the back of our mat, so finding a forward fold at the back of our mat. And we'll stay here a couple breaths since we haven't really done a forward fold yet, or at least for any period of time. So you might separate your feet a little bit more if you like it wider here, and maybe reach for opposite elbows, bring the arms behind the back, whatever variation you like. You might also start to walk your hands from side to side. Big breath in. Exhale, release any variation you have. Start to toe heel your feet in towards one another, and we're gonna roll all the way up to standing. Soon as we're all the way up, arms will reach up overhead. And we're gonna bring the right knee in towards our chest, coming into our one-legged mountain. So as we lift up, flex that foot and try to draw it towards the center line of the body as you gaze straight ahead. Inhale. Exhale, step it forward. So you're stepping it forward to about the center of your mat for warrior three. So any arm variation you like for warrior three, I have a tendency to bring my hands onto my hips to keep them square. But if you like your arms extended or out to the side, or maybe a supported version, you might have your blocks here to come into a supported version of your warrior three. So whatever is calling your name, but think about bringing your weight into the ball of the foot and then lifting up that quad muscle so you feel the lower abdominals engage. That's gonna help you find more stability in the pose. Inhale. Exhale, step the left foot forward. So now you should be about at the top of the mat. We're moving into eagle pose. So right leg is on top. Right arm is coming underneath as we sit back into that heel, working the shoulders down, elbows are away from the chest. Big breath in. On our exhale, we're moving into our runner's twist. So hands will come down, right foot steps back, and then we're moving into that twist. So left arm will come up, stacking shoulder on top of shoulder to our wild thing. So just like the warm up, bringing that left foot behind, lifting up those hips, inhale. And our exhale takes us to Malasana. So left foot forward, right foot back as we sit into our Malasana. And so that is where we don't do the same as the warm up. So the next part where we were doing the binds and everything, that is gonna happen for jelly. So sorry to ruin the surprise, but you might come into a version of Malasana where you go into compass pose. So I'm gonna face towards you, but I'm not mirroring you. So bring the right arm behind the right leg, maybe push into that to lift up the foot, and then you could reach for the outside of the foot as you bring that head underneath the arm. And again, this is only an option if you wanna come into compass. We played with compass a lot in my last class, so it's kind of a continuation from that. Otherwise, that's all we've got for peanut butter. So hands come down, step or float it back. You can take a vinyasa to go to your down dog, or you can skip it, just go right to down dog. So from here, we walk our hands to the back of the mat, coming into our forward fold. We'll take a big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. We'll roll it up. Soon as we're rolled up, our arms will come up overhead, and then bring the left knee in towards your chest, coming into your one-legged mountain pose as we inhale. On our exhale, we're gonna step it forward about halfway for warrior three. So find your arm variation. Of course, you can always come into that supported version with or without blocks. Lifting up that left quad muscle, trying to keep those hips square. So notice where your right toes are. You want them all facing downward. Nice, and then step that right foot forward, moving into eagle pose. Left leg is on top. Left arm is gonna come underneath as we draw those shoulders down, elbows are away from the chest. Finding that focal point to focus on here. Big breath in. And then as we exhale, release for your runner's twist. So left hand is down, right arm reaches up as we stack shoulder on top of shoulder to our wild thing. So right foot comes behind, lifting up those hips, maybe gazes towards your fingertips. And then we move into that Malasana, stepping the right foot forward and the left foot forward. Stay here unless there's something else that you want to work on. Or if you want to play with that compass, this is the only time I'm going to show it, just for the other side. Once we pick up the pace, you decide if you want to bring it in or not. But we can lift up our seat, Bring that left arm behind the left leg, pushing into the floor to lift up that foot. You can take hold of the outside of that foot. Maybe gaze underneath the right armpit, coming into this yoga squat compass. Big breath in. And then we exhale, bring those hands down as we make our way to our down dog, optional vinyasa. All right, we'll pick up the pace now. So walk your hands all the way to the back of the mat. Roll it up. Arms will reach up overhead as that right knee draws into chest. Step it forward for warrior 3. Step the left foot forward for eagle pose. Right leg is on top, right arm is underneath. Sit it back. And then we release, runner's twist. Right hand down, left arm reaches up to our wild thing. Inhaling here, and as we exhale, step it forward to Malasana. Hands come down. Take it to your down dog. Walk your hands to the back of the mat. Roll it all the way up to standing. Arms will reach up overhead. Left knee draws into chest. And then we step it forward, warrior 3. And then we step the right foot forward. Eagle pose, left leg is on top. Left arm comes underneath as we sit it back into that heel. We'll release for our runner's twist. Left hand down, right arm up to wild thing, coming onto the ball of that right foot. Exhale brings both feet forward for Malasana. One more time. So hands come down, make it to your down dog. Keep in mind that one more time is for both sides. We'll walk our hands all the way to the back of the mat. We roll it up. Arms reach up as right knee draws into chest, and we step it forward, warrior 3. We step the left foot forward, eagle pose. Right leg is on top, right arm is underneath. We release, runner's twist. Right hand down, left arm reaches up to our wild thing on the inhale. Exhale brings both feet forward. All right, hands come down. Make your way to down dog, however you like. Walk it all the way to the back of the mat. Roll it up, arms reach. Left knee draws into chest. Step it forward for warrior 3. Step it forward for eagle pose. Left leg is on top, left arm is underneath. We release for runner's twist. Left hand down, right arm reaches. Inhaling into our wild thing. Exhale brings us to Malasana, our yoga squat, and that is peanut butter. How we doing? So here's the news. We're gonna start in Malasana for our next sequence, but maybe take a break from it. It's totally cool to get a drink of water. Check in with your breath. Check in with our affirmation. Inhale, I allow love. Exhale to transform my pain into peace. Again, I allow love to transform my pain into peace. Let's get into our jelly. So, jelly will bring back that standing Marichi if you are interested. Otherwise, we're mainly thinking about getting up and down off the ground. So it's not an easy task to do that from Malasana. I know that. That's why I'm trying to give you as many tips as possible. So let's make our way there. And we're bringing the right arm in front of the right leg. Left arm reaches up, or we find whatever version we want, because we're going to start to, when we move faster, we're not going to have all this time to figure out. We're either going to go right into our bind, or we're going to hold that shin. So from this space, either keeping the bind or releasing your twist to come into that space where you're going to reach for the shin, we'll lift up our seat. Bring that left foot in towards the right as we come all the way up to standing. Yeah, maybe taking that bow if you were in your standing Marichi. And then we release, all of us come into our tree pose. So bringing that foot to the inside, arms will reach up overhead. Full breath in. Exhale, step it back for goddess. So heels in, toes out. Find your goddess, maybe finding a little bit of movement. We won't be here as long since this was part of our warm-up. So then we'll straighten that left leg coming into our side angle to the back. So again, if you want to take that bind, you can always bring your props into it as well. Otherwise, don't worry about the bind. But if you have it, we're moving into a bound wide forward fold or prasarita. So all 10 toes are going to face towards the right side of the room, and then we'll let that head relax. So if we don't have our bind, just come into any variation of your forward fold. Think about bringing that weight forward towards the balls of the feet. And then we'll all release what we have for a twist. So right hand is down, left arm is up as we twist towards the front of our mat. And then we soften this left knee, walking our hands back forward as we come right back into Malasana. Left arm in front of left leg, right arm reaches up, or we find our bind. Big breath in. Exhale. And then we're all lifting up our seat to bring that right foot towards the left, whether we have the bind or not. Otherwise, we're holding onto that shin as we come all the way up to standing for our standing Marichi. Sometimes flexing that foot makes it a little bit easier. If you're coming forward, take that variation. And then we're releasing into our tree pose. So bringing that foot to the inside of that right leg and then finding your version of tree. Big breath in. Exhale, step it back, goddess. So we're facing the left side of the mat this time. So maybe finding some movement here. Big breath in. Exhale, straightening through that right leg. Find your side angle to the back. So maybe finding that bound version or not. Yogi's choice. Big breath in. And then we're coming into that wide forward fold. So we're bringing all 10 toes towards that long edge. If we have our bind, we let that head relax down. Otherwise, find your version, focused on bringing the weight forward so you feel that length in the backs of the legs. Exhale, release for your twist. So left hand is down, right arm reaches up as we stack shoulder on top of shoulder. And then softening that right knee, we walk to the top of the mat, coming into Malasana. Now we're gonna pick up the pace. So right arm in front of right leg, left arm reaches up. Maybe go right into your bind or hold onto that shin. We lift up our seat to bring that foot closer. And we come to standing. We're moving right into our tree pose. Arms can reach up overhead. And we step it back, goddess. From here, we come into our side angle to the back, with or without the bind, to that wide forward fold. So all 10 toes will face that right side. And then we release for our twist. So right hand comes down, left arm reaches up. And then we soften that left knee as we come to the top, Malasana. Left arm in front of the left leg, right arm reaches up. Maybe we find that bind. Maybe we hold onto the shin. Seat lifts as we bring our feet closer. And we come up to standing. Once we're up to standing, we come into our tree pose. From that tree pose, we step it back, goddess, to our side angle to the back. From that side angle, we come into a wide forward fold, maybe with or without the bind, to our twist. So left hand is down, right arm reaches up. Soften that right knee, walk it to the top, Malasana. Right arm in front of right leg, left arm reaches up, or we find that bind. Lifting up the seat, we bring those feet closer as we come all the way up to standing. We move into our tree pose, to our goddess. Side angle. Find your version, maybe it's with a bind, to that wide forward fold, to our twist. Right hand is down, left arm is up. Softening that knee, we'll walk to the top. Mala, nice. Left arm in front, right arm up, or find that bind. Seat lifts as we bring the feet closer and we come up to standing. Tree pose, bringing that foot to the inside, arms reach. To goddess. To side angle, whatever version. So that wide forward fold. Left hand down, right arm reaches up. And then we soften that knee as we come back to Malasana. Or wherever you want to go. How are we doing? Good news. My favorite part of the practice is coming up where we bring these two together. It's peanut butter and jelly time. So take a moment just to let all you've done sink in. So check in with your breath, slow it down. Give yourself your pep talk, whatever you need. One more time. You've got this. Let's check in with our affirmation. If I allow love to transform my pain into peace. Let's go. Let's meet in down dog. We've got this. So down dog it up. And once you find your space there, big breath in. Exhale. Walk those hands to the back of the mat. We'll roll all the way up. Arms will reach up overhead as we bring that right knee into our chest. We step it forward for warrior three. We step the left foot forward for eagle pose. Right leg is on top. Right arm is underneath. Sit it back. We'll release to our runner's twist. Right hand down, left arm reaches up to our wild thing. From our wild thing, we move into Malasana, where right arm is in front of right leg, left arm is up, or we go right into that bind. Lifting up that seat, bringing the feet closer. We lift to standing with that bind or holding that knee in towards our chest, where we move into tree pose. So bring that foot to the inside. Arms can reach up overhead. Step the right foot back, coming into goddess. And then we'll move into our side angle to the back, finding your variation, maybe with the bind. Maybe you find that bound version of our forward fold as we bring all 10 toes to the side, or your version. And we release into a twist. So right hand is down, left arm reaches up. And then we'll soften that knee as we come forward. And this time we move through a vinyasa. But most importantly, first side is done. All right, let's go. Left side, we'll walk our hands all the way to the back. Roll it up. Arms reach as we bring that left knee into chest and we step it forward for warrior three. We step the right foot forward for eagle pose, so left leg is on top, left arm is underneath. And then we release for our runner's twist, so left hand down, right arm reaches. Wild thing, bringing that foot behind. To Malasana, our yogic squat. Left arm in front of left leg, right arm reaches up. Maybe you find that bind, maybe you don't. No big deal. Bring the feet in closer as we come all the way up to standing. And we move into our tree pose, bringing that foot to the inside. Arms reach up overhead. Step it back into your goddess. And then moving into our side angle to the back. Again, maybe having that bind or not. But all 10 toes are going to face that long edge of the mat. We find our twist, left hand down, right arm reaches. And then we soften that right knee, walk it to the top, take that vinyasa or don't. But we did it. Yay. Nice work. All right, let's make our way to seated. And as we come into seated, maybe just come into an easy seated pose, just closing your eyes for a moment, letting that sink in. How beautiful. Yeah, big inhale. Exhale. And then have any of your props that you might want to one long edge of the mat. That way they're there should you want them. And we can always place the soles of the feet onto the mat as we reach the arms forward, drawing the chin in towards our chest as we start to slowly lower one vertebra at a time. Maybe find some windshield wipers here. And we're gonna bring our right ankle to meet our left knee, coming into a reclined pigeon pose. You might just gently press the inside of that knee, or maybe you find your bind by lifting up that foot and interlacing underneath the knee or across the shin. You can always kind of rock a little bit here. Use your elbow as leverage to draw that knee further forward if you need more sensation there. Two breaths as we inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. And exhale. Nice. Let's let that go and come into some windshield wipers just from side to side. And then we'll move into our left side from here. So bringing that left ankle to meet the right knee. Again, we can gently press the inside of that knee, or we find our bind on this side. Two more breaths as we inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. And exhale. Nice. From here, maybe windshield wiper those legs. Check in with the body. Maybe come into any final poses that sound good to you. Otherwise, the next place we'll come to will be our final pose of rest, our final pose of Shavasana. So find your space and see how much space you can take up as you come into this final pose. I'd like to encourage you to take up space here because our practice is a reflection of our lives off the mat. So if we take up space here, we take up space once we go out into the world. And take a moment to have so much gratitude for showing up today for your mat, but for you. So much gratitude for all the hard work that you just put in. And so much gratitude for this feeling you created through those first two things. Be so proud of yourself. You did amazing. Know that I'm so very proud of you for taking this time out for you, for doing all the things. So now just allow the breath to be soft and the body to be still. Shavasana. As usual, please, please, please stay here as long as you need. But if you are ready, you can start to invite small movements like wiggling the fingertips and the toes, bringing the arms up overhead as you awaken to this new body. And then we'll bring our knees into our chest as we roll to our side at our fetal-like pose, just cradling our head into our arm, our pose for new beginnings. And just allowing yourself to take this feeling with you as you leave the mat, because that is when our true yoga begins. We'll meet in a seated position of choice. Hands can come to heart center as we tuck our chin under. I allow love to transform my pain into peace. And thank you so much for being here today, for sharing your practice with me. It's always a true honor. And until next time, namaste. Bye.